Whether a federal judge in Manhattan decides to make Sean Combs' holiday dreams come true and let him out of jail, or whether he keeps Diddy locked up tight for many months to come, you can't say he didn't think about it, right? Another day has come and gone with no decision on Sean Combs' fourth attempt at bail. But the defense is optimistic. How do we know this? Well, because just this morning, Team Diddy sent a security expert to eyeball the three-bedroom Upper East Side apartment where Diddy's team is proposing he should live under house arrest. That's right, they scouted it out. The defense says they'll install cameras and other surveillance measures, and guards will be in charge of Diddy's phone and will record all of his calls. They promise every single one. By the way, the defense says Sean Combs is presumed innocent and has the right to address negative pretrial publicity. Prosecutors say, not.
Live from New York, it's a high-stakes showdown. Will Sean Diddy Combs' holiday wishes come true, or will he remain behind bars? Tonight, the courtroom drama unfolds as a Manhattan federal judge holds the fate of hip-hop mogul Sean Combs in their hands. Will the judge grant Diddy a fourth shot at bail, or will he be locked up for months to come? The pressure is mounting, but one thing's for sure, Diddy is not giving up without a fight.
So fast. They say even from jail, Diddy has done everything in his power to harass and intimidate his adversaries and bolster his friends, along with his own image. They say that he's determined to taint the jury pool and obstruct justice. And they say the self-proclaimed bad boy for life has demonstrated a pattern of violence. We all remember that shocking video of Combs viciously beating his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hotel hallway in 2016. But as far back as 1999, Combs was accused of beating a record producer with a champagne bottle, a telephone, and a chair, all over the use of footage in a music video. Later that year was the infamous Manhattan nightclub shooting where 2 people were wounded and rapper Shine took the blame, despite witnesses pointing at Diddy. In 2015, let's go through this list. Combs was charged with assault with a deadly weapon after an altercation.
Despite the looming uncertainty, the defense is optimistic. How do we know this? Because this morning, Diddy's legal team sent a security expert to scout out a 3-bedroom Upper East Side apartment. Yes, you heard that right. They're proposing house arrest for the man who's used to commanding arenas. And guess what? They've got a plan. Install surveillance cameras, set up guards, and monitor his phone 24/7. Every single call. They're leaving no stone unturned. And of course, let's not forget the defense's most powerful argument. Diddy is innocent until proven guilty, and he deserves the opportunity to address the negative publicity surrounding his case. But there's a twist.
With a football coach at his son's university. That charge was later dropped. So, bail or no bail, that is the question. And it is really a close call, it seems. Or is this judge just dragging out the suspense? I'm joined now by 2 longtime friends of this program. Dave Ehrenberg is the state attorney for Palm Beach County in Florida. Mark Garagos, you know him. He is a renowned defense attorney and co-host of the Reasonable Doubt podcast. Thank you both for being here tonight. Dave, I want to start with you. You're here on set. Let's start with Diddy's pretrial communication. You know, there has been a lot of back and forth about limiting his statements. Is there a danger at all of violating his First Amendment rights? What's going on?
Good to be with you, Laura. You know, when you're a prisoner, you don't have the same First Amendment rights as the rest of us. You have a lot of rights that are curtailed. And by the way, it's great to be with you and Mark. I like how he's branding his podcast with a sweatshirt. Yep. Looking good, my friend.
Prosecutors aren't backing down. They argue that even from behind bars, Diddy has used his influence to harass, intimidate, and manipulate those around him. They claim he's been trying to taint the jury pool and obstruct justice from day one. They point to a disturbing history of violence, from that shocking 2016 hotel hallway incident with ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, to the infamous 1999 nightclub shooting, to the assault charges involving a football coach. It's a long list, and it paints a very troubling picture.
they don't have the same expansive First Amendment rights that the rest of us do.
Right.
So you also have to take into account potential threats to outsiders. Normally, yes, you have the First Amendment right to contact anyone you want, but not when you're a defendant, not when you're being accused of tampering with witnesses. And that is going to be a big obstacle for him to overcome to get pretrial release.
Yeah, this has been a big contention in court. I was at the courthouse on Friday. Mark, first, can you fill us in on why you think the judge hasn't decided on bail? What is the inside story here? Because we've got these new court filings this week. Are you surprised at all to hear, United States versus Trump cited in the argument? There's a long list of things going on here, and obviously other things that are redacted.
I'm not surprised in the least, because the defense filing, which I think was prepared by Alexandra Shapiro, who's probably the appellate lawyer, federal appellate lawyer around, she runs through kind of the cases that I've always used.
The question is simple: bail or no bail? It's a decision that could change everything. But this judge? Well, it seems like they're enjoying dragging out the suspense. Joining me tonight are two seasoned legal minds: David Ehrenberg, the state attorney for Palm Beach County, and Mark Guerra, a renowned defense attorney and co-host of the Reasonable Doubt podcast. Thank you both for being here tonight. David, let's start with you. There's been a lot of back and forth in the courtroom about whether Diddy's statements are being restricted. Could limiting his freedom of speech violate his First Amendment rights?
Heard me argue many a time, Laura, which are basically the Shepard versus Maxwell, the Gentile versus State Bar of Nevada, and all of the other cases, and now the latest edition, which is Trump. And basically what it is when there's a First Amendment and Sixth Amendment kind of a intersection, you cannot just clamp down on the First Amendment. And by the way, one of the things that I've always complained about is the prosecution likes to come out and they like to announce, we've got a RICO action, or we've made this huge bust, whether it's Diddy or anybody else. And then they want to run and clamp down on the defense and say, you can't talk, you can't say this, you're trying to obstruct. Trump has been masterful in the way he's pushed back against this nonsense, and the courts now are starting to say, no, you can't go in there and just slam the defense and then hope that the defense is not going to be able.
David, it's a great question, Laura, but here's the thing. When you're in jail, your First Amendment rights aren't exactly the same as when you're out here on the streets. Prisoners face a much tighter restriction on what they can say and to whom. The issue here isn't just about speech, it's about potential witness tampering and intimidating others. And that's a big obstacle for Diddy's defense. Mark, let me bring you in. You've seen these filings. What's going on behind the scenes? Why do you think this judge is stalling on the bail decision?
To push back. In fact, my argument has always been it's malpractice per se for the defense lawyer to just sit by and let his prosecutor kind of slime his client. So I think that's one of the reasons that they have, it's taken a little time, because a lot of what they're claiming is obstruction is nothing more than a pushback against all of the nonsense that's been out there.
Dave, what do you think about that? And also, the prosecution says that the jury could be tainted with all that's going on. Of course, we hear that when we're going into any big trial, right?
I don't think the jury really is going to be tainted by Diddy's post. Also, when you're looking for a jury, you're not looking for a jury that's an empty vessel, a blank slate. They could know about the case.
Mark, honestly, Laura, I'm not surprised. The defense is doing what it does best, pushing back against the system. The filings have been strong, and they've pulled in cases like Shepard versus Maxwell and Trump versus United States to argue their point. It's clear the defense doesn't just want to sit back and let the prosecution control the narrative. They've been in this game too long.
They can read the post, they just have to say that they will remain objective and just follow the evidence and the law. And that's all. That's why you can get a jury in any case.
Right.
But I do think the government has a point that Diddy has proven previously that he has attempted to contact witnesses. He's tried to obstruct witnesses before. He's used a banned app behind bars. He's used another inmate's phone to try to get his message out.
And the three-way calls.
And the three-way calls. So, he's been through this before. It's not like a first-time offender here. He has a rap sheet, so to speak.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
And let's not forget, Diddy's been accused of attempting to manipulate the system before, whether it was using inmates' phones or making threats to key witnesses. There's a pattern. But should he really be punished for using his voice to defend himself? David, what's your take on the jury pool? Do you think all this media frenzy will really influence their decision-making? David. Well, Laura, here's the thing. A jury can be informed about the case, they just need to stay objective and follow the law. Sure, Diddy's social media posts may raise eyebrows, but ultimately it's the evidence that matters. If they can remain impartial, they'll do their job. But with Diddy's history of witness tampering, the prosecution certainly has a strong case. They're not wrong to worry about his ability to influence others, even from jail.